everybody and welcome back to the Leeds FBS Student Life YouTube channel. If you're new, then welcome. I'm Grace. I'm studying BSc Microbiology. I'm in my second year and I'm also one of your student engagement interns. Now in today's video, I really want to give you an insight into how I make my flashcards. So if you see my previous video on how I make notes, then you'll see I talked a little bit about some inefficient techniques of note-taking and information recording. So I really wanted to show you a technique that I've developed that I think is very effective. Not only when it comes to consolidating our information from lectures or textbooks and wider reading and things like that, but also when it comes to revising for exams. I find that this is a really good system that I've got in place. Obviously everyone's different and everyone learns differently and revises differently, so this technique may not work as well for you as it does for me, but hopefully it will give you a little thing to think about when it comes to your revision and your learning. So as I said in my previous video, how I make notes, I discussed the fact that when I'm in a lecture, I'll have the PowerPoint open and I will record down any extra information that the lecturer says underneath in the notes section, underneath the PowerPoint slides. And then after that, so after the lectures, I will go over to Excel, and now this is where I record all of my flashcards. So the first thing that I will do is create a new sheet. So as you can see along the bottom of this Excel document here, I've got an individual sheet for each lecture, and I will name it the number of the lecture and the title. And then I will go ahead and write down the learning objectives, which hopefully the lecturer has given. So as you see, I write down the learning objectives here. I just put them in bullet point fashion. So then what I'll do next is go through and I will create questions based on the information that there is. So as you see here, I'm writing out different questions and putting in their answers next to the questions. You can see we've got a question column and an answer column. So what I will do then is go through the whole lecture, the whole PowerPoint, and write down as many questions and answers as I can think of, and making sure to get all the key information in there. I'll also include diagrams, so if there's any key diagrams included that I think are necessary and good visualizations of these processes, then I will put them in the right next to the answer column. So then once I've done that, I will then, if there's any sort of keywords that I'm not too sure about or I want to do some wider reading, I will then add that in as well. So I'll either do it after I've done the lecture or as I go along. So for example, let's say I get to slide 5 of the PowerPoint and there's a keyword that I don't really understand, that the lecturer hasn't really explained too well, then I'll just Google it, find the answers and have a look at any papers which I think will be useful as well. So the way that I tend to break up my flashcards within the lecture set essentially is by the lecture learning objectives. So for example, here you can see in this sort of cream colour, I've got number 1 and then the first learning objective, and then as you scroll down we've got number 2 and the next learning objective, and this just helps to sort of separate it out into more clear sections. And if I feel that the lecture learning objectives are too broad, for example, then I will also break them down further and just put further sort of groups and titles and categories for specific flashcards. And then right at the end I will put a summary of the lecture if the lecturer is given one, and then also write down any wider reading that's recommended. The reason I find this technique really effective is that essentially it's promoting active recall. So instead of just seeing notes written down on a page, I'm seeing active questions that I can go through and answer effectively. One of the beneficial things as well is the fact that my exams are online and we have a lot of multiple choice question exams online, is that when I'm doing the exam I can have this Excel document open, press Ctrl F, which is the find function, and then type in any keywords, and then I'm able to find the section within all of my notes that corresponds to that specific question. So it's really, really handy. So it doesn't mean that I have to go through lots of notes or lectures or PowerPoints to try and find the information I need, because it's all consolidated in one document. So within the module Excel document as well, I do have a first page which has all the lectures written down and other information. So for example, when assessments are and stuff, so it just helps me keep track of when lectures are and what assessments I have coming up. So I hope that this video has been useful. Please give it a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already. And I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!